हाँ? Yes. भूल गए थे, मैंने याद दिला दिया. All of you, good afternoon. Hi Sadia, hello. Are we streaming fine? Hi Ritu, Shubhra, Nidhika, streaming fine? Yes, okay. Yeah. Sadia. Yeah, I was amused. Yesterday I was telling you guys, how your friends disappear before weekend. Yes, Vinay. Atlantic Ocean does not have active margins. But ऐसा नहीं कि plate movement नहीं है. Plate movements हैं because you have the spreading boundaries. Atlantic more active है. आज कराते हैं. चलो, वैसे आप लोग का क्या प्लान है न्यू ईयर्स में? नो प्लान, नथिंग? बड़ी बोरिंग लाइफ है तुम लोग की यार. न्यू ईयर के दिन में IAS? After becoming IAS, you must never postpone happiness and fun. Okay, this is the studying only. My parents, I know, बेटा पढ़ाई कर लो, बाद में खेलना. Okay, do your class 7th, बाद में खेलना. Do good boards, बाद में खेलना. Get into good career, बाद में खेलना. बूढ़ा हो गया. Okay, now it's like अभी काम कर लो, अब तो खुद नहीं खेलोगे, बच्चों के साथ खेलना. बच्चे बड़े हो गए, उनके बच्चों के साथ खेलना. It doesn't happen. So I don't think I agree with the idea of postponing any fun. But fun enjoy करने के लिए काम करना पड़ता है पहले. Otherwise you are having fun every day. Can we go for vacation? Yes, Riya, I'm happy you asking me, but I don't know why you asking me. You don't need my permission at all. If you have to go, you go. Okay. But yes, schedule your breaks. थोड़ा पढ़ाई, थोड़ा सा घूमो. You have never attended a music concert. Oh, you should go. Music concert? Okay. I think whenever your city has some good shows, go there. Delhi में तो था culture, अभी भी है. There are certain music nights, evenings, parks में पहले होते थे, अब पता नहीं होते हैं कि नहीं. Delhi has a very vibrant, in Mumbai has, I don't know about, पक्का कोलकाता में भी होता होगा. Others I do not know. Leave for meditation camp. चलो बताते हैं. What you can do for meditation camp? You reminded me something I must. एक मिनट. अच्छा चलो, लेट्स स्टार्ट ऑफ. घूमने के मूड में आओगे, अभी पानी में डुबाते हैं. चलो. We'll take you on a trip across oceans. Show you a bit of Antarctica also today. Okay, so get back to oceanography, all of you. Yes. Tell me. Biosphere reserves essentially are part of ecosystems management, जिसमें के all species, all the living things, non-living things, forests, water bodies, rivers, mountains, slopes, सबको मैनेज किया जाएगा. और जहां जहां पर लोकल पॉपुलेशन है उनका भी हम ध्यान रखेंगे. The core is ecology. The core is ecosystem. The core is nature. And where we have people and farmers and villagers who are dependent on that ecosystem, we won't ignore them. And in a biosphere, they have got zonations. Zonations where एक central core area होगा, अगर वहां पर लोग रहते भी हैं उनको हटाया जाएगा. That is focused on nature, the core area. And the people will be on the periphery. Okay? So biosphere is an ecosystem approach for nature in situ conservation, and we don't ignore local population who are dependent on the ecosystem. But you talk about question kya hai? Okay. So before you guys were doing oceanography, other batch, we were doing environment geography. Your friend asks me the difference between community reserves and biosphere reserves. So biosphere is, you can say, an ecosystem approach. Biosphere का key focus है, okay, nature, wildlife, vegetation, natural lakes, rivers, plus the local population if they are dependent. But local population यहाँ पर focus नहीं है. In this case, okay, the focus is local population. Okay, कोई ऐसा area है where there are local people and they're living with the forests, then this forest will be managed by the local people. They will use it. Okay, they will own the forest also. Okay, so this concept is more for social development. Plus, okay, support the local populations to manage the local ecosystem, generally forests. नहीं, not necessarily. वहां भी हो सकता है, I'm not saying no. Okay, the Forest Rights Act doesn't tell us कहां लागू होगा. It just says if there are forests and there are people, then the people must be given the rights. It can apply to this area also. It can apply to this area also. Okay, so Forest Rights Act is not for this alone. And this is an older concept. Okay, इसके कुछ components were also part of Indian Forest Act also. Okay, ये धीरे धीरे evolve होके this has become something like social forestry. Okay, but like I said, difference इसका ये main है. यहाँ पर nature focus है, यहाँ पर local population focus है. And the governance of these areas, they come under state governments. इसके governance comes under central government. Okay, जैसे कि wildlife sanctuary is largely the state का governance. The wildlife sanctuary when converted national parks, फिर यहाँ पर state का बहुत कम role रह जाता है. Okay, but these are still local forests. These are managed by local panchayat, local forests, local state. The regulation बहुत अलग-अलग है. But the Forest Rights Acts can apply to both. It was not meant for this alone. ठीक है? Okay, chalo. Sadia, but I'm made villain because of that. Okay, so I hope I don't stretch that. Which magazine is best for geography optional? Mayank Singh. Okay. Mayank Singh, I don't know if others know or not. The older ones know, the new ones may not. Every fortnight, 15 days mein, Edukemy comes out with geography and environment ka current affair compilation. Okay, we used to call the compilation as Cosmos. You go to the website. On the website, Edukemy website, we have resources section. In the resource section, there is current affairs for geography. Okay, you can rely on that because current affairs for geography scattered hai. Some news are in EPW, some is in down to earth, some even now you can use Kurukshetra and Yojana, some news Hindu mein aati hain. So what I am doing is I am compiling all of that together. Okay, plus one. Number two, use UKey. On the UKey, current affairs, geography, bana gaya section and environment. You can use that also. So I will not recommend that you go by any one magazine alone. You need to source it and compile it for some usage. Yes. Yes, Fatima. These things are not behind the paywall. Okay, it's free. Okay, whether you are a student or not, it's for everybody. Okay, so go to Edukemy website. Resources mein you have all of that. It's not behind any paywall. It's free for all of you. Okay? Acha, let's start off now with oceanography. So ocean bottom relief is what we were doing. So in this, we gave you some idea about the tectonics. Okay, what is convergent boundary, what is divergent boundary, what is sea floor spreading, what is subduction zones. Okay, इसमें थोड़ा सा terms आपको बता दिया because you need this for this part of geography study, oceanography study. And then I moved on towards explaining what are the zones of the ocean floor. So ocean floor ke broadly we have the ocean margins, we have the abyssal plains, and we have moors and trenches and the rest. The ocean margins includes the continental shelf, the slope, and the transition zone called as continental rise. The shelf is a resource-rich region, shallow area, lot of biodiversity. The shelf has certain type of deposits. We call those as terrigenous deposits. The shelf can be important for fishing. We mentioned some banks, the Dodger Bank, the Grand Banks, very famous ones. And the slope is far more steeper. The slope does not have sediments. The slope has landslides. And the landslides can carve out those deep canyons. We named some of the canyons for you. Okay, the Congo Canyon, Amur Canyon, Indus Canyon, Hudson Canyon, Ganga Canyon, and so on. Okay, so canyons are not rift valleys. Canyons are erosional features formed because of the turbidity currents falling down the continental slope. And the sediments accumulate at the base. It forms the transitional zone called as continental rise. So two conceptual aspects we taught yesterday was that this shelf and rise are found only along margins which are passive. Like jahan subduction nahi hai, where there are no trenches. So those areas will have wider shelf and they will have the rise also. But where we have subduction going on, we have got trenches, those areas will have non-existent or very narrow shelves, and the continental rise, okay, will get consumed there. Okay, so ये difference है in the Pacific coast of North and South America and the Atlantic coast of North and South America. So I drew the sketch for all of you here. So that's North America, and that's South America here, like this. So along the Pacific coast of North America, South America, यहाँ पर trenches हैं. There are trenches here. We named some of them. Remember, Alaskan Trench, British Columbia Trench, Californian Trench. And this side is passive margin. So in the passive margin, we don't have any active trenches. We don't have any active trenches. So on this side, okay, the shelf is, on this side, the shelf is fairly broad shelf. And on this side, it's almost non-existent. It's a very steep plunge towards the trenches. Okay, why? Because the Pacific side of North and South America is subduction zone. Trenches यहाँ पर है. ये passive areas of the Atlantic Ocean. Okay, so that's the quick summary of the margins. An important concept was also, although the shelf and the slope are part of the ocean margins, but structurally they are part of the continents. अगर आप rocks देखोगे, the rocks of the shelf and the rocks of the slope are actually continental rocks. Okay, so I was insisting for you to recall that ocean floor is not same as ocean crust. Okay, ocean floor is all the ocean which is under the ocean waters. Okay, and ocean crust का मतलब होता है basalt. So if you see this continent, the shelf, the slope, the rise, okay, and the plain. So यहाँ तक this is continental crust, and the water is here. Okay, and this is the ocean basalt. So although these come under the ocean floor, but these are continental rocks. These are andesite rocks. These are diorite rocks. These are granitic rocks. And the deep ocean floor technically is the ocean crust, the basalt. ये दो concepts थे, we have talked about yesterday. And the abyssal plain is the bulk of the ocean floor, almost 70-75% of the floor abyssal plains hai. And the abyssal plain is not actually flat. Okay, there are landforms, mountains, volcanoes, plateaus, seamounts, geos. So there are a variety of landforms on the abyssal plain, and we also have the Moor system. Okay, Moor में कल add किया हमने, along with the axial rift valley. We also have transverse faults, which are across, and yeah, so I'll show some of that to you. So I have a summary of these diagrams. I'll just show that. I hope they have uploaded that. This one. Okay, so I think that's fairly fine, more or less, dur se. So the shelf and the slope, the transition rise, it becomes the abyssal plains. These are the submarine canyons. Okay, these are isolated seamounts. Some of them can be high enough and become islands. Abyssal hills, small hills. The Moor system with the axial rift valley. The Moor also has cracks like this, the transform or the transverse faults. Okay, so this is an very simplified, can say the cross section, or you can say sketch of the ocean floor. Okay, submarine canyons. So I think this is now clear. Any doubts on this? You can ask me. I'll share these diagrams with you on your post-class notes. So one of you asked me about post-class notes. It's on your dashboard, and the diagrams may not be same as what I'm showing you here, okay, because so printouts में दिक्कत होती है. Okay, so otherwise whatever I'm teaching, we're adding something on the sketches there. Okay, so go back and have a look. Yes, you can do that. After class, you can go back and it takes me 24 hours to upload for that. That's the ocean floor ka summary. Any questions on this, anybody? Any doubts on this? Online, offline, any questions? Any queries? And I have discussed the methods of the sea floor mapping So we have something called as bathymetric techniques to map the ocean floor. We have line sounding, we have echo sounders, and we have those gravity study techniques. Line sounding सबसे simple वाला है. You have a ship, and from the ship you will drop a line, a rope or a wire with some weight here. There are some bells attached. When it hits the floor, the bell will ring. You have some method, and it's very crude method. It's good for shallow waters, lakes, rivers, maybe shallow waters of the oceans, but deep oceans, of course, ये सबसे reliable नहीं होगा. But then we have used it to do whatever we could have. Echo sounders are proper acoustic machines. They have transmitters. The transmitters will, transmit sound waves. देखो, the ocean floor ka mapping you cannot do using satellite imageries. Satellites largely use radio waves. और radio waves क्या होता है? Waters can absorb them. So satellite cannot map the ocean floor. Satellites, because they use radio waves, you need a separate spectrum. So acoustic waves, sound waves जो हैं, these are more reliable because acoustic waves, they don't get absorbed by the water as efficiently. So all of them are echo sound से आ रहा है, echo sounding, echo sounders, echo mapping. And gravity अब समझाया मैंने कि अगर ocean floor है यहाँ पर, and the ocean floor has mountains, it has elevations, it has mountains, elevations here, और ये water level है. Because we have got mass is more here, mass is more here, mass. So the gravity of this part is more. So this gravity will attract more and more water. And because of this mass, the level of the water will slightly get elevated. यहाँ पर कम mass है. The level of water will slightly be depressed here. Again, more mass is here. The level of water again gets elevated here. So you are studying the different elevations of water and how they know which elevation wave hai ya nahi hai. I mean, we leave that to scientists. They have some technique. Satellites can not map this, but satellites can map this variation. So using satellites, they know ki this is slightly higher than this point. And that's how they know. So this area might have mountains or plateaus, and then they do the remaining mapping. So you don't need the technical details on this. आपके post class notes में we have given some diagrams also. एक बार पूछा हुआ question है, enough content to write maybe 10 marks के लिए about 1 odd page, 1.5 page, that's good enough. So what are the bathymetric techniques? These are the 3. And I mentioned some expeditions, Beagle expedition. I mentioned Challenger expedition. I mentioned Joyde's expedition. एक और मैं भूल गया बताना. Before Joyde's, there was one called as Glomar. ये famous है. Joyde's, and with Joyde's I mentioned deep sea drilling project also. The Glomar is important one. I just know the name. A very famous expedition called as the Glomar. Glomar expedition ही modify होके Joyde's बन गया. And Joyde's has a special one called as the deep sea drilling project. So notes में Glomar add कर लो. Glomar, Glomar expedition. And those 2-3 pages I mentioned for your reference, अपने convenience में देख लेना और क्या. It shouldn't be a big deal going through those pages of your textbook. ठीक है? So I hope I've revised. At least quickly turn through what we taught in the last class. I can move on now. So now we'll start off with the ocean bottom relief of the individual oceans. Ocean bottom relief. A short may we call this as OBR. I'll start with the Pacific Ocean. Most questions of OBR are on this. And this topic is again hardcore GS. GS Prelims, GS Mains. Okay, so not a difficult topic. You had to know some names. So ocean bottom relief of the Pacific Ocean. Okay, so before I teach you and give you notes, पहले एक बार Pacific Ocean को study कर लेते हैं. With some idea, it's not a very clear, but you'll have some idea on this. I should have asked you to bring your atlas, but कोई बात नहीं. I will help you. Okay, while we are seeing this, ठीक है? So watch the screen, all of you. So I'm drawing the boundaries approximately. That's Australia here, Tasmania here. We have New Zealand North and South Island here. The big island called as the New Guinea Island, 2 countries. We have the Indonesian islands here, Celebes, Philippines islands here. This is one island of, your China, Hainan Island. These are the Japanese islands, Hokkaido. This one big is called a Sakhalin Island. Okay, that's Kamchatka Peninsula here. Okay, this is the coast of Vietnam, Gulf of Tonkin, Yellow Sea. This is the Koreas, the Okhotsk Sea. Okay, so ये boundary है on this side. On this side, Alaska. Okay, that's North and South Americas. These are some islands here called as Aleutian Islands. Okay, so broadly this is the map of Pacific Ocean, and so if I write the names here, I will draw this eventually, but okay, यहाँ पर islands हैं called as Aleutian Islands, और यहीं पर you also have this trench called as the Aleutian Trench. यहीं पर we have the Aleutian Trench. Okay, these are the Japanese islands. Japanese islands will have Japan Trench. यहाँ पर Kuril Islands हैं. Yesterday हम बता रहे थे आपको. We have some islands here called as the Kuril Islands. Kurile. Kuril Islands. यहाँ पर Kuril Trench भी है. Okay, so this is another of the trenches यहाँ पर, ऐसे Kuril Trench. Okay, you come here down south, Japan Trench. यहाँ पर this is Mariana Trench, the very famous deep. I think I'll change the color of the darker one, maybe this one. This is a trench, the Mariana Trench. This is the Japan Trench. This is the Kuril Trench. Okay, so this is Mariana Trench. All these diagrams आपको मिल जाएगा on your post class notes. Okay, plus we have some trench here. Okay, ये भी एक trench है, pretty active trench called as the Tonga Kermadec Trench. This is the Tonga Kermadec Trench. Okay, and these are Tasman Sea, Coral Sea, एक part of the Pacific Ocean hai. Then we have Hawaiian Islands somewhere here. It's not shown here. Hawaiian Ridge. So this is where we have not shown, not as clear. Okay, these are those islands यहाँ पर, Hawaiian Islands यहाँ पर हैं. And there are series of fractures, cuts हैं. There's a cut here, there's a cut here, there's a cut here, there's a cut here. ये fractures हैं. Why? Because the Pacific Ocean is moving northwards. While moving northwards, ऐसे खींच रहा है. Because getting pulled. Imagine, say you're making roti बना रहे हो, it's flat, and you pull it. क्या होगा? It'll have some cracks, right? Okay. So Pacific Ocean, because it's moving northwards and subducting here, यहाँ is going inside the mantle here and here. This part of Pacific gets stretched. These are shear cracks. Okay. We have some names for these. This is called as Clipperton fracture. This one, if I'm not wrong, it's Clarion fracture. Then we have Molokai fracture. We have Murray fracture. Some good names of the important fractures of the Pacific Ocean on the northeast side. Okay, plus we have some trenches here also. Okay, this is the पेरूचिली ट्रेंच यहाँ पर होगा मिडिल अमेरिकन ट्रेंच, लिखा नहीं है. We have the British Columbia Trench, we'll have the Californian Trench. So these are all trenches along the side. And again, it's not shown on this, but this part here, okay, this part here is the main more of the Pacific Ocean. ऐसे कुछ सोचो more है. The more here. It goes on this side, it goes on this side also. So every ocean, I said, has more systems. Okay, the more system of Pacific Ocean is on the southeastern side. ये पूरा more systems है. From here it goes towards the Indian Ocean also, and from here it goes towards the Atlantic Ocean. So broadly, this is the map of the Pacific Ocean. ठीक है, so एक बार register हो जाए आपके साथ में, because if I remove it all, इस सारा लिखा हुआ हट जाएगा. Okay, so ठीक है, okay, we can come back and redraw this here. अच्छा, now what I want notice here is this Pacific Ocean, okay, is subducting, is moving northwards. It is going underneath here, is also going underneath here, it's also undergoing underneath here. So on three sides. South में the ocean is opening up, ऐसे फैल रहा है, it's opening up here, south में, okay, and moving north, okay, westwards, northwestwards, subducting here, subducting here. ये जो subduction है, it's because the American plate is moving towards the west. I hope you can understand the difference here. So North America as a plate is moving like this. So the American plate is going over the Pacific Ocean. और यहाँ पर the Pacific Ocean is going under the northern part and towards the eastern part. So Pacific Ocean on all three sides. ये पूरा यहाँ पर भी you have got certain trenches. यहाँ पर भी trenches हैं. Okay, Vistias Trench. Okay, we have some trenches here. So ये पूरा trench, this entire thing is a trench zone. Trenches, and any trench we have said it will have what? Volcanism. Any trench will have those antiseptic eruptions. On this side we have the islands formation because यहाँ पर ocean collision चल रहा है. यहाँ पर ocean continent collision चल रहा है. Okay, so if I summarize this, something like this होगा. What color? ठीक है. Okay, so it's like this. This is a zone of earthquakes, a zone of volcanic eruptions, a zone of tsunamis. This is what we refer to as the Pacific Ring of Fire. Okay, so I'll make you write all of this. Okay, so I'm just getting a color right. Yeah, maybe this one is a bit more bolder here. This is the circum-Pacific belt of volcanoes, earthquakes, tsunamis, tectonic activity. जहां भी trench होगा, the trenches are associated with violent eruptions, powerful earthquakes. Okay, this is the circum-Pacific belt, okay, along the margins of Pacific Ocean. No, Abhirup, just a mistake. Sara, why have you drawn this as orange and others as blue? मैंने गलत चीज नोटिस कर लेते हो. ठीक है, अब सारा ट्रेंचेस मैंने ये कर दिया. ये ब्लू है लेकिन ट्रेंच नहीं है, इसका अलग कलर करूं फिर प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगा. ओके, क्या कलर यूज करूं? दिस, ये ट्रेंच नहीं है, ये क्या है? ये फ्रैक्चर्स हैं. दे आर shear cracks. Okay, Clipperton fracture. Okay, they are cracks, they are not trenches. Some idea here done, all of you? Yes. Yes, America, both North and South America plate. The South America plate also is moving like this. Why? Because yahan par, okay, you have okay, the more system of Atlantic Ocean. और जहां more system होगा वहां पर, remember we talked about ocean is spreading, याद आ रहा है? Ocean यहां पर opening up. This opening up is pushing North and South America towards the west. ठीक है? So this we'll try sketching, okay, and discuss the features one by one. Okay. So I'm moving from here because सारा marking हट जाएगा, so we must draw this now. So, okay, equator, if I have not done it, then, okay, so that's Australia, that's New Zealand, Tasmania, the island of New Guinea, okay, we have Kuril Islands, Japanese Islands, Philippines Islands, Aleutian Islands, okay, that's Thailand, Singapore, Borneo Island, yeah, more or less we have covered. Trench, trench, trench. We have some trenches here. We have a trench here. Okay, we have a trench here. Some trenches here. Trenches here. Okay, we have Hawaiian Islands somewhere here. And then we had the fracture zones, Clipperton fracture, Clarion fracture, Molokai fracture, and Murray fracture. Okay. So, draw the sketch. I'll help you name those details. Never draw a very large map. Let any map you draw be within half your page. If full map banaya, then you're in trouble. Okay, your errors will exaggerate. Okay, and you'll take more time drawing it. Half a page is good enough. Okay, so the trenches 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. यहाँ पर भी एक है 10, 11 trenches. Islands as A, B, C, D, E. यहाँ पे भी कुछ islands हैं, F. Okay, call these as some islands of F. G. Fracture zones as okay, L, M, N, O. So I'm naming the trenches for you. Aleutian Trench, Kuril Trench, Japan Trench, Mariana Trench, Philippines Trench, Vityas Trench, Tonga, Kermadec Trench, British Columbia Trench, California Trench, Middle America Trench, and Peru-Chile Trench. It's a very simple topic. Once you know the basics of the ocean bottom relief, okay, then it's very easy. You just have to know the names and tell us what lies where. Aleutian Trench, Kuriil Trench, Japan Trench, Mariana Trench. Mariana Trench is the deepest trench. We have a deep location called as Challenger Deep. There is no other way to remember map work. Atlas देखो, देख कर drawing करो. Textbook देखो, देख कर drawing करो. List down the names 2 or 3 times. Okay, there's no other magic in remembering names. ये हो गया सबका? All done? The islands, A is Kuriil Island, B is Japan Island. Japan Island में north वाला जो island is called as Hokkaido. The big one is called as Honshu. Hokkaido Island, Honshu Island. We have Shikoku Island, Kyushu Island, and we have Ryukyu Island. Ryukyu, Ryukyu Island. 4. ये मेन ग्रुप्स हैं. और अभी बहुत न्यूज में वन कॉल्ड एज सेनकाकू आइलैंड्स. चाइना हैज एम्बिशंस देयर. ठीक है. सो these are the main. The biggest one is Honshu. Honshu is the biggest one, Honshu Island. North में we have Hokkaido Island. South में smaller ones called as Shikoku, Kyushu, and Ryukyu. Ryukyu is our small islands ऐसे. The Ryukyu Islands. Then C is Philippines Islands. Here are Philippines Island. Philippine Islands में there are 2 main islands, Luzon and Mindanao. Luzon Island north में है, and we have Mindanao Islands. Luzon Islands and Mindanao Islands, part of Philippines Island. Then this D are the islands of Indonesia. Okay, D is Indonesian islands. इसमें at least know the island called as Borneo, the biggest one. The southern one called as Java. The western one called as Sumatra. Okay, so this is Java Island. ये Java Island है, ये Sumatra Island है, और ये Borneo Island है. This is Borneo Island. This is Java Island. ये Sumatra Island. Okay. The islands of Indonesia. This E is a very big island. After Greenland, this is considered as the biggest island, called as island of New Guinea. New Guinea Island. ये वाला island जो है. It has 2 parts. We have Indonesian part and we have one country called as Papua New Guinea. This island में there are 2 countries on this island. It's called island of New Guinea. And then other smaller islands हैं. Okay. This F is Tonga Islands. ये अलग से countries हैं, parts of Pacific Ocean, called as Tonga Islands. And this trench is the Tonga-Kermadec Trench along the Tonga Islands. And this G is Hawaiian Islands. I forgot, GH, ये नॉर्थ में जो है ये Aleutian Islands है. Aleutian Islands. Is a map of the Pacific Ocean. Okay, fine, all of you. What part has what? कौन सा trench है? And this part has been in big news recently. ये Kamchatka. This is called as the Kamchatka Peninsula. This triangle is called as Kamchatka. Okay. So यहाँ पर काफी earthquakes हुए हैं. In fact, just a couple of months ago, some place here had an earthquake on the earthquake scale 8.8. Okay, 10 is maximum. 8.89 touch कर रहा था. One of the most violent earthquakes of recent times यहाँ हुआ है. Okay, and इसके वजह से we had tsunami warning Hawaiian Islands में. We also had warning in California also. Okay, the waves displaced, they could come and slosh here, come and hit here. Even Japan was on alert. The massive earthquake we had here, Kamchatka Peninsula and some parts of Kuril Islands. ठीक है? No Abhiroop, you don't need to go into regional geography. Please don't go that route. That day I got emotional and told you the book's name. Okay, please forget that book. आप इतने ही करो. Green lines. I'll come towards that. पहले ये हो गया, all of you done? So trenches listing हो गया, islands हो गया, all of you? Okay. Okay, now these are fractures. Fractures in the Northeast Pacific. यहाँ पे basin है. It's called as the Northeast Pacific Basin. The fractures, the southern one, I'm writing the names here. जो भी जगह है मेरे लिए. I'm clearing this part here. We have southern one, L जो है, this is Clipperton fracture. Then we have a Clarion fracture. Then we have Molokai, LMNO. We have Murray fracture, MAMURRAY, Murray fracture. Okay, and these are not trenches, these are shear fractures. ये cracks हैं. These are shear fracture. They are shear fracture zones. Clipperton, Clarion, Molokai और इसी sequence में south से to north. Okay, so Clipperton and Clarion, they are around Hawaiian Islands. You know of something called as polymetallic nodules, all of you? Okay, ये पहले बार discover हुए थे near the Clipperton fracture. They discovered the polymetallic nodules for the first time near Clipperton fracture zone. ठीक है? Yes, yes. यहाँ पर दो ट्रेंच है. Okay. ये एक छोटा प्लेट है. It's called as the Philippines plate. Okay. Philippines plate here. So Pacific Ocean goes under Philippines plate, and the Philippines plate is going under the Eurasian plate. Okay. So यहाँ पर दो trenches हैं, and they have volcanoes and the rest. Where is Galapagos? Galapagos along the equator is somewhere here. यहाँ पे कुछ islands हैं, okay, called as the Galapagos Islands. On the equator, part of the country called as Ecuador. Ecuador Galapagos. Deepest point of Mariana, one location called as Challenger Deep. It's almost 12 kilometers below the sea level. Challenger डीप बोलते हैं. इसका डेप्थ वाटर सरफेस से ऑलमोस्ट 12 किलोमीटर डीप है. इट इज इन द मरियाना ट्रेंच, द चैलेंजर डीप. Is the diagram clear, all of you now? Okay. So we move on for some discussions on Pacific Ocean. So अगर आप Pacific Ocean देख रहे हो, it's like a triangular shape. ऐसे apex है, ऐसे triangular shape है. Okay. Northern part, it links with the Arctic Ocean through the Bering Strait. Okay. So let's start off some writings now. So Pacific Ocean, ocean bottom relief. Okay, I'm listing the facts here. Okay, लिखना कैसे है, that's different story. So it's roughly a triangular shaped ocean. Okay, in the north it has the apex. It is linked to the Arctic Ocean through the Bering Strait. North में उसका apex है. It is linked to the Arctic Ocean through the Bering Strait, and the southern part is open. It's called as the Southern Oceans. Southern Oceans is kind of it includes Indian Ocean also. तो पूरा एक continuous water body बन जाता है. Southern is more open. It's more open and called as the Southern Oceans. Pacific Ocean, it has the largest tectonic plate. It's called as the Pacific Plate. The ocean has one of the largest tectonic plates. It's called as the Pacific Plate. But एक चीज याद रहे कि Pacific Plate is not entire Pacific Ocean. Okay, इस ocean में बाकी plates भी हैं. Some of you may have remembered that we have one big plate here called as the Nazca Plate. We have some plate here called as the Cocos Plate. Okay, we have some parts here. These are part of the Eurasian Plate. This is a Philippines Plate. This part is part of Australian Plate. So the बीच में जो रह गया, this is the Pacific Plate. Okay, so our discussion point here is it has the largest plate, but you can add point here. Okay, the Pacific Ocean is made up of other minor plates also. The Pacific Ocean is made up of other minor plates also. We mentioned 3-4 names. Okay, it's made up of Nazca Plate. ये साउथ अमेरिका के साथ में है. Cocos Plate. ये विद मेक्सिको के साथ में है. We have parts of Eurasian Plate in the east. We have Philippines Plate, okay, near Philippines. So entire Pacific Ocean is not one plate. Okay, there are other minor plates. So those who have done the geomorphology part, you know this better. Okay, for others, बस इतना काफी है. We don't know everything. So this big block is called as Nazca Plate. Okay, यहाँ पर छोटा सा one called as Cocos Plate. This I said is the Eurasian Plate. This is Philippines Plate. Okay, just know 4-5 names. Okay, so some gaps will remain, but that's okay. Describing the Pacific Ocean. Achha. Next, write down. The Pacific Ocean के margins कैसे हैं? The margins of Pacific Ocean. So margins of Pacific Ocean. Okay, if you look at the north and the eastern margins. the north and the eastern margins. का मतलब क्या है? I'm talking about the northern margin and eastern margin. ये वाला part जो है. The northern and eastern margin, एक ऐसा margin है, this is the O collision boundary. It has trenches. It will have archipelagos, which are of volcanic islands, and it will have marginal seas. It will have marginal seas. लिख लो पहले इसको. The north and the east, sorry, eastern में लिखा, western. Yeah, this is a genetic problem. I confuse an east and west, okay? Yeah, thanks. Western margin. Okay, this is the northern margin and the western margin. Okay, east तो ये वाला होगा, right? So north and west में, this is ocean collision. Ocean collision. Ocean collisions. तो जहां पर collisions होगा ocean, I'll have a trench and I'll have the volcanic islands here, and ये बीच में तो sea रह जाएगा ना. This is Okhotsk Sea, Sea of Japan, South China Sea, the Coral Sea. They're all called as marginal seas. Okay, margins में है. Okay, so they have trenches, they have archipelagos, and they have marginal seas. So write the names of some of the marginal seas. We have the Okhotsk marginal sea. We have the Sea of Japan. We have East China Sea. We have South China Sea. We have the Coral Sea, okay, towards Australia. Or north में है, we have the Bering Sea. Bering Sea in the north. The Okhotsk Sea, O-K-H-O-T-S-K, Okhotsk Sea, the Sea of Japan, the East China Sea, the South China Sea, the Coral Sea, and the Bering Sea. All done? Okay. लिखा आपने? Okhotsk Sea, Sea of Japan, East China Sea, South China Sea, the Coral Sea, and the Bering Sea. Okay. So this northern part, ये है Bering Sea. This is the Okhotsk Sea, Sea of Japan. यहीं पर East China Sea, South China Sea. ये South China Sea यहाँ पर है. Okay. And this is the Coral Sea. Coral Sea यहाँ पर Tasman Sea and so on. So this has the margins has shallow waters. Okay. Beyond the island, volcanic islands. अच्छा. फिर add करो. Then add here. Okay. That अगर O collisions हैं. Okay. So these are again, okay, volcanic, very active. Okay, because they have the active subductions. So volcanic active zones हैं. You also have very powerful earthquakes also. Okay, volcanic active zones and very powerful earthquakes. Okay, so Kamchatka, okay, Peninsula has earthquakes. Japan has earthquakes. I'll show you some more details also. Earthquakes along Indonesia, earthquakes along Philippines. Okay, so this is on the north and western margin. Now in the eastern margin, it is OC collision. It's OC collision. यहाँ पर भी trenches होंगे. Okay, but there are no volcanic islands here, and this will not have marginal seas. The east margin is the OC collision margins. So OC collision margins में you will have fold mountains. Okay, the two big ones, the Rockies Mountains of North America and the Andes Mountains of South America. And ये fold mountains में there will be volcanic peaks, there will be volcanic mountains. The eastern margin is OC collision. They also have trenches. but they will not have volcanic islands, they will not have marginal seas. ये दो नहीं होंगे. Unlike on the western side, they will have fold mountains. Okay, along the coast, we have the Rockies Mountains of North America and the Andes Mountains of South America. Okay, and each of the mountains will have these volcanic peaks. I'm sure you know some of the names of very powerful volcanic peaks. एक active volcanic peak है called as St. Helens Mountain, ये Rockies में है. एक active peak है Chimborazo Mountain in South America. We have Cotopaxi Mountain. We also have the highest peak called as Ojas del Salados, boundary of Chile and Argentina. So 3-4 names of volcanic peaks. Okay, the St. Helens, ये US में है. St. Helens Mountains in the US. Okay, Rockies का part है. Chimborazo Mountain, Cotopaxi Mountains. These are in South America on the Andes है. And Ojas del Salados. Ojas del Salados. ठीक है? Okay. And ये जो दो volcanic conditions हैं, they are active volcanoes, earthquakes, और ये जो together हैं, this is what makes up for the Pacific Ring of Fire. They have almost 80% of the world's most powerful volcanoes and earthquakes. Okay, yeah? Andes. ये तीनों Andes में. Ecuador and this is borders of Chile and Argentina. These three are on the Andes. This one is in the Rockies Mountains. Okay, so these volcanic belts, trenches, and earthquake zones, they make up the Pacific Ring of Fire. All done, all of you? They make up the Pacific Ring of Fire. Okay. Now, you know this about this one, okay, that because of trenches, okay, the eastern Pacific coast has a very narrow continental shelf. जो ईस्टर्न साइड में है along the Pacific, okay, वहां पर trenches हैं along the margins. They'll have very narrow shelves and almost a non-existent continental rise. Almost non-existent continental rise. Now you know the answers, right? Collision going on, the shelf will be absent or very narrow, and the sediments which could have formed the rise are now consumed by the trenches. So trench will not allow for the rise to form. All done? Achha. Next. The southern Pacific, particularly the Southeast Pacific, this has the active Pacific Moor system. The South Pacific, on the southeastern side, it has the active Pacific Moor. Okay, this is the zone of sea floor spreading in Pacific. Zone of sea floor spreading in the Pacific. So if I go to the diagram here, ये दिखाया था आपको मैंने ये वाला part. This is the Moor system. Okay, and this will push Okay, the Pacific on either side. ये Pacific ऐसे push हो रहा है, and the Pacific is pushed like this. Okay, and that's why the Pacific Ocean moves northwest like this, and on this side we have the Pacific moving, okay, or colliding against North America. This is riding over Pacific, and here the Pacific is going underneath Eurasian plates on the north and the western side. Okay, and ये जो Pacific more है, इसके फिर कुछ local names हैं. Okay, just know the names. Okay, so we have the more systems. It includes albatross plateau. It includes Chile rise. It includes Galapagos rise. It also includes Easter rise. जहां पे आइलैंड्स हैं, Galapagos Islands के तरफ में Galapagos rise. Towards Chile, the extension is called as Chile rise. One elevated part like a plateau है, it's called as the Albatross plateau. ALBATROS, the Albatross plateau. ये जो डायग्राम है ना, it's very well given in NCERTs. आप NCERT खोलेंगे, okay, ocean bottom relief. That's a very nice diagram to draw. I'm not carrying it with me. Okay. In Savindra Singh, the diagram is a very pathetic diagram. Okay. But ठीक है, I'll just give a sense to you. You can't draw the diagram as conveniently. It's not detailed. In your Savindra Singh textbook, दिख रहा है? Page number 80 में है, chapter number 3, page 80. So all the parts are not very well given here. Okay. So this is that rise. This is the rise like this. It goes here like this. Okay. इसका एक branch इधर है. Chile rise, Easter Islands here, Galapagos तरफ में. Some remnants on this side also. Okay. But this is the main rise. और ये जो lines दिख रहा है आपको ऐसे ऐसे, these are the transverse faults. Okay, so this is the main Pacific. यहाँ देखो यहाँ पे लिखा है ये Chile rise, one branch towards Chile country यहाँ पर, one goes towards Galapagos like this, so Galapagos यहाँ पर, like you have one branch towards further north also, and यहाँ पर लिखा है Clipperton fracture, Clarion fracture, Molokai fracture, Murray fracture, उसके और north में Mendocino fracture. But you leave this part. This is the main rise. Okay. तो यहां पर एक broad part है ऐसे. This is called as the Albatross plateau. You can't draw all of this, so don't bother. Go with these maps, Fatima. उतना details you will not require. Define more. No, मेरे बच्चे ऐसे नहीं करो. मोर हिंदी में मोर बोलते हैं. Okay, not okay. Okay. अमन करीम, या आप गलती से आए हो शायद. Mid oceanic ridge is fold or fault. Okay, ना बच्चे सिखा देते हैं पेशेंस. बस है, भगवान ने बनाया है इसको मोर. Okay. It is neither a fault nor is it a fold mountain. It is a volcanic accumulation. I think you are out of sync. All done, all of you? So, iska best hoga if you go with your NCRT's ke maps. Okay. So, this is about this. Next, write down. Continue, please. Pacific Ocean can be divided into following zones: the north-west Pacific, the northeast Pacific, the central Pacific, the southwest Pacific, and the southeast Pacific. ये 5 पार्ट में डिवाइड कर सकते हो. द नॉर्थ वेस्ट पैसिफिक, द नॉर्थ ईस्ट पैसिफिक, द सेंट्रल पैसिफिक, southwest and southeast Pacific. Okay. So if I show this to you on this map, yeah. So it's something like this. Okay. So this is northeast Pacific. This part is northwest Pacific. This is the central Pacific. This is the southwest. And this is the east and southwest. Broadly, this is the divisions. Okay. So the northeast Pacific hai, it has these islands and the fractures. Okay. The southeast Pacific has the more systems. Okay. The central Pacific is the deepest part of the Pacific Ocean. Okay. And this part has numerous islands. Okay. Tonga Island, Fiji Island. You have these islands that make up the small countries of Polynesia, Melanesia. यहाँ पर बहुत सारे islands यहाँ पर हैं. Okay. So go back to your notes here. 5 parts. The northeast Pacific. It has the fracture zones. The central Pacific is the deepest part of the Pacific. यहाँ पर depth exceeds more than 5 kilometers. Depth is more than 5 kilometers. The southeast Pacific has the more part and it is therefore the shallowest part. The southwest Pacific, this has numerous volcanic and coral islands. It has numerous volcanic and coral islands. ये small countries हैं. Okay. Islands. They are part of a group of countries we call as Polynesia, Micronesia. ये कुछ islands हैं. Countries के groups हैं. Melanesia. Okay. These are 3 group of islands in southwest Pacific. Polynesia, Micronesia, and Melanesia. Okay, and the Polynesian islands, they make up the biggest group of islands of Pacific. ये अपने आप पे countries नहीं, just 2 group of islands taken together. It's more of a geographical division. Yeah, so all these together may be called as the Oceania Islands, correct? ठीक है? All done, all of you here? Okay. So this is a division of the Pacific Ocean. अच्छा. इसके अलावा, we want to add some more fact here that the Pacific Ocean has numerous hot spot islands. The Pacific Ocean has numerous hot spot islands. ये islands क्या होते हैं? These are localized. They are localized of volcanic eruptions. These are not associated with trenches. they are not associated with trenches. ये localized volcanic eruptions हैं. So what I mean by this is, देखो, say this is a continent and this is an ocean part here. This is an ocean part that is subducting like this, and this is the ocean part subducting here, और यहाँ एक continent है. This is typically Pacific Ocean. Eurasian continent. These are those islands of Japan, Philippines. यहाँ पर islands यहाँ पर हैं. ये trench है, Japan trench, Philippines trench. This is the American continent. Okay, Cocos trench, Californian trench. Okay, so यहाँ volcanism होगा, and because of this यहाँ पर volcanism होगा. So this volcanism and this volcanism, they are linked to trenches. Subduction happening, and remember, I think diagram बनाया था मैंने, okay, the first class में, okay, the subduction happening and lava rising, volcanic islands here, subduction happening, lava rising, and volcanic peaks here. But then what happens is, away from the trenches, okay, यहाँ पर there can be certain local volcanic eruptions. ये एक volcanic island बन गया. They are not to do with trenches. Okay, ये बहुत अलग type के volcanoes हैं. We call these as hotspots. So hotspot volcanisms, they are not associated with trenches and they are localized. But यहीं पर हो रहा है. Nothing like a long system forming here. Okay, so ऐसे जो hotspot islands हैं, I'll give you 2-3 of them. The most famous one of Pacific is the Hawaiian Islands. Hawaiian Islands is not on the coast, not near the coast, not near the trenches. Hawaiian Islands. इसी के पास में एक island है called as Midway Islands. And you know about Galapagos Islands. Examples of hotspot volcanisms हैं. Hawaiian Islands. Midway Islands are near Hawaiian Islands on the northwestern side, Midway Islands, and Galapagos Islands. Examples of the hotspot volcanism. Yes, on the abyssal plains, away from the trenches, on the deep ocean floor. Yes, hotspots also have some tectonic reasons to it, but we'll skip that for now. अभी आप बस इतने ही जाने. Okay, so if you look at your map I was discussing here, okay, I'm rubbing this. Okay, I think you all are familiar with this now. So okay, so now ये ट्रेंच था आपका, ये ट्रेंचेस हैं, ये ट्रेंचेस हैं, volcanism here, volcanism here, volcanism here, volcanism here. ये एक ट्रेंच है, ये volcanism हो गया. ये ट्रेंच था. All these islands are volcanic islands. यहाँ भी ट्रेंच है, Kurile Islands, Japanese Islands. यहाँ भी ट्रेंच है, यहाँ भी ट्रेंच है, Philippines Island. यहाँ पर ट्रेंच है, Tonga Islands. So trench and islands. Away from the trenches, okay, say somewhere here, okay, this is Hawaiian Island. Away from trenches, okay, somewhere here, okay, this is Galapagos Islands. Away from trenches, okay, these are the Midway Islands. The trench ke paas nahi, they are away from the boundaries. Okay, so this is Hawaiian Islands, this is Midway Islands, this is Galapagos Islands. Okay, so we also call them as intraplate because inside the plate hai, not on the margins. We also call these as intraplate volcanism. The hotspots are also called as intraplate volcanism. Fatima, I will not know that. I must read about it then. I do not know what type of islands are Marquesas Island. All done? So I have discussed all the important now features of Pacific Oceans. Ocean. So you recall your general scheme kya tha? General scheme was talk about the ocean margins, talk about the shelf, slopes, rise, talk about the abyssal plains, okay, talk about trenches, talk about moors, talk about marginal seas and whatever islands that we have. Itna kar liya to Pacific Ocean is done. Okay, the ocean bottom details of the Pacific Ocean. ठीक है? Yes. Yeah, they are basalt, not andesite. So those technical details, some of you have done your geomorphology, you know that better, but abhi aap chhod dein aap. The details of the Pacific Ocean bottom relief. ठीक है? So the question prelims mein, they generally ask you name of a trench and where they are, or names of some islands and where they are. It is enough for your prelims work and even for GS work. Optional mein pura becomes one answer. The ocean bottom relief of Pacific Ocean. Okay. Now, for sake of completion, I'll just show you something more. So this is the diagram of the Pacific Ring of Fire. Okay, ये पूरा arc जो है, Tonga Kermadec, Philippines, Japan Trench, Kuril, Aleutian, Middle American Trench, ये पूरा, this is, okay, the Ring of Fire. It has almost 80% of the world's most powerful earthquakes and volcanoes. Okay, so this is Ring of Fire. Now, something you might also know about. This is the diagram from NCERT. Okay, I forgot I had taken with me. So, ये दिख रहा है आपको, ये rise है, Pacific Ridge System, Albatross Plateau. Okay, Southeastern Pacific Plateau, Kermadec Trench, Tonga Trench, Hawaiian Islands. So you have some sense of locations here. Okay, so I have shown this to you. This is the Kamchatka Peninsula, the massive earthquake. Okay, it was almost, I said 8.8 on the Richter scale tha. Okay, so Kamchatka se shuru hua and impacting Hawaiian Islands. So in your prelims mein, then this place becomes important. Where is Kamchatka, north of this, east of that, Kuril Islands. So have a sense of location there. Okay, हाँ ये आपको मिल जाएगा as a part of your post class notes, and I'm showing you here Kamchatka Peninsula. This is a smaller plate, okay, called as Okhotsk microplate here, okay, and Pacific Ocean subducting here. So this subduction, ये जो tooth mark है, it shows subduction here. This subduction will create earthquakes here. ठीक है? So this you understand now. Japan का एक और diagram था. I wanted to show that to you also. So this was the map of Western Pacific. Okay, and पढ़ रहे हो तो ढंग से कर लेना all the countries. Okay, so now you know these are the Kuril Islands. This big one is Hokkaido. This biggest one is Honshu Island. You have Kyushu Island, Shikoku Island. These small dots here are Ryukyu Islands here. Okay. This is Taiwan. Taiwan, यहाँ पर Hainan. Hainan काफी news में है. China trying to do something in Hainan Islands. Okay. Hainan, H-A-I-N-A-N, Hainan Islands. These are the Philippines Island. This one south में है Mindanao Island. North में है Luzon Island. Okay. This is the island of Borneo, the big island of Indonesia, Borneo. Borneo में अब capital shift कर दिया गया है. The capital used to be Jakarta यहाँ पर. It is sinking. So they have shifted the capital of Indonesia to Borneo Island. Sumatra, Java. Okay, this big one is the New Guinea Island here. Okay, this one is called as Sakhalin Island. Okay, this is Korea Peninsula, China, Vietnam, Malaysia, Singapore. अब conflicts हैं Thailand and Myanmar के बीच में. Okay, so once you know these features, एक बार revise कर लेना, ठीक है? I cannot emphasize this more. Okay, so Philippines कहाँ पर? And this is the South China Sea. The conflicts of South China Sea. Okay, here, and the Sea of Japan is here. Sea of Japan में recently यहाँ पर एक projection है called as the Noto Peninsula. Nota Peninsula. This had earthquakes. Okay, 24 में a big earthquake was here. Unusual, generally earthquakes idhar hote hain, but this also has earthquakes. Okay, तो ये न्यूज में था. Okay, so look this up. Japan का भी, I think I got the diagram with me. Yes, here. This was the earthquake, 7.6. Okay, it was in 24 में. Okay, Ishikawa prefecture, जैसे districts होते हैं, Ishikawa prefecture, and this is that Noto peninsula. Okay. Yeah, and the bad one was here. यहाँ पर था 2011 में the Fukushima disaster that we had. Okay, so this was here, Tokyo के पास में. We have this Yokohama. Okay, so यहाँ पर भी एक trench है. Okay, I think Nankin Trench, I forget the name. Commonly called as Japan Trench. Japan Trench, इसका एक अलग से नाम है, I forget, it's Nankin or something of that kind. With Atlas, I'll recommend 2 atlas for all of you. Keep Orient Black Swan Atlas, and you can keep Oxford Atlas. Bulk of your needs, I think your Orient Black Swan is good enough, and you can always refer to Oxford for some more clarity maybe. Okay, but then ये आपको सब notes से मिल रहा है, so you can have a look here. Yeah, same thing again, Japan and Southeast Asia. Okay, so okay, then I'm done with the Pacific Ocean bottom relief. ठीक है? So look up your notes. You want to ask something, 2-3 diagrams, sketches, details, along with tectonics. You are home. Spratly Islands, yes, Vishal. Part of that South China Sea conflicts, yes. आप थोड़ा सा disconnected हो. Is hotspot not related? It is, Vishal. Hotspots are related to tectonics, but not the way we study in terms of trenches. Okay. Anything which is, what does tectonic mean? Tectonic, technology, technique. Okay. It's a root word for building, जो बनाया जाता है. Technology is building something. So all the internal forces of Earth that create what we see outside, the continents, oceans, mountains, वो सारे force को बोलते हैं tectonic forces. So plate tectonics is about how the plates are moving. So every activity of the interiors of Earth is part of tectonics. Vishal? Okay. So let's move on in that case. I'm done with Pacific Ocean. Now we'll take up the Atlantic Ocean. Take a fresh page. Ocean bottom relief of Atlantic Ocean. So we have the first few sessions, part of reaching out. So somebody from the net is saying totally disconnected है. Okay, Arnav Goswami को होश आ गया. Finally, our 4th pillar of democracy is playing its real role. You have no idea about that man. ठीक है, वो man भी है या वो अलग species है. मुझे लग रहा है कि पैसे के प्रॉब्लम है, पैसे पेमेंट हुए नहीं है. ठीक है. एंड सुधीर साहब को आई हैव हर्ड कि 15-20 करोड़ मिल रहा है पर मंथ. ओके, सो ये नेगोशिएशन पावर है. ओके, सो अर्नव गोस्वामी को अकल नहीं आया है. अर्नव गोस्वामी सरकार को अकल दिला रहा है. ओके, सो हाँ, बट वो अच्छा इज रिलेटेड. अर्थक्वेक्स पढ़ रहे थे राइट हम लोग. Okay, so one of the reasons for earthquakes is also that debates. The country wants to know. Okay, so that amount of, the nation wants to know, yes. The amount of vibration required for that. Okay, 2-3 tsunami तो हो ही जाता है. Okay, so it hits parliament largely, so ठीक है. कभी भी पलट सकता है बेटा, पलटा हुआ आदमी है, वो पलट सकता है क्या? Okay, the whole story starts from there. Okay. आपको एक ओशन का भ्रमण करवाया Now we'll move on towards the Atlantic Ocean. Okay. So Atlantic Ocean, again the same process. Let us first see, okay, what does the Atlantic Ocean look like, where it is, okay, and some basic, itna details, okay, nahi chahiye, whatever we need. Okay. So that's South America, Florida, Hudson Bay, America, Greenland, okay, Iceland here, Britain, this big loop, Africa, Italy, Spain, Scandinavia. Okay, this is your Atlantic Ocean. And ये जो light shade यहाँ पर है, okay, this is the mid-oceanic ridge, the continuous big one here, and it has lot of fractures like this. Pacific Ocean had active boundaries. यहाँ पर कोई active boundary नहीं है. This part of the Atlantic Ocean is part of African plate. ये एक जुड़ा हुआ है. This is part of the Eurasian plate. This is part of the South American plate. This is part of the North American plate. You do not have any active trenches here. There is no subduction going on here. There is no subduction going on here. There is no subduction here. That's why along the coast, a light blue shade जो है ये सब shelf है. Very, very broad shelf. ये island of Newfoundland है. Around this you have got Grand Banks. Okay. This is Britain. This is North Sea. ये North Sea है. It has Dodger Bank. Okay. So unlike the coast of Pacific Ocean, which had active subduction, यहाँ पर कोई subduction नहीं है. There is no subduction here. So the margins are all passive margins. Atlantic Ocean ka most remarkable thing is the central Moore system, okay, where the ocean is spreading, it's moving apart. Remember on this side we talked about how America is moving over Pacific Ocean because yahan se push ho raha hai. This is pushing like this. This also is pushing like this. This is pushing here. So entire North America, South America get pushed on the west. And this is also pushing like this. Okay, this is moving towards the east. So Atlantic Ocean का main feature is this one here. इसके भी कुछ extensions हैं. Extensions here, some extensions are here, some extensions on this side यहाँ पर है, okay, and so on. Okay, so fair idea about the Atlantic Ocean here now. So we'll draw the same thing, okay, for our reference. So equator, this like this, South America, Florida, Hudson Bay, Greenland, Africa, this is Britain, Iceland. Atlantic Ocean neither contracting nor expanding. No, it is expanding. विशाल कुछ गड़बड़ पढ़ के रखे हो. Okay, hold yourself back. Let me teach you. Atlantic Ocean is expanding. It is not contracting. Pacific Ocean is contracting because subduction is also very powerful there. Okay? And this is that Moore system here. Okay. The northern part of the Moore, the southern part of the Moore here. Okay. और यहाँ पर बहुत सारे islands हैं, small islands are here. Okay. We have no trenches यहाँ पर, but छोटे वाले 3 trenches. There is one trench, not big ones. Okay. There's one trench here, southern Atlantic में. There's one trench here and a small trench here. ये 3 trench हैं in the Atlantic Ocean. Okay. This one, trench 1, trench 2, trench 3. Trench 1 is called as South Sandwich Trench. Trench 2 is called as Puerto Rico Trench. And 3 is called as the Cayman Trench. और साथ में islands हैं. South Sandwich Trench, South Sandwich Islands. Puerto Rico Trench, Puerto Rico Islands. Cayman Islands and Cayman Trench. Cayman. Cayman Trench. Yeah, for the older batch, I spent some time teaching the world map. ठीक है, for the new ones also I will do that. अभिरूप, मेरे साथ रहो ना, आगे क्यों चले जा रहे हो? आपका एक प्रॉब्लम शुरू से है. okay. आपको बोलेंगे आओ आम पपीता खाते हैं, अरे प्लेन छूट जाएगी. okay. चलो बारिश देखते हैं, सर पैंट पहन लूं. घूमने चलते हैं, मूवी देखना है ना, समथिंग यू कंप्लीटली गो टेंजेंट. सो इतना ही करो अभी आप. ओके. एंड दिस इज द मोर सिस्टम. द मोर सिस्टम में लेट्स राइट द नेम्स हियर. द नॉर्दर्न पार्ट इज कॉल्ड एज डॉल्फिन रिज. डॉल्फिन रिज. द सदर्न वन इज कॉल्ड एज Challenger Ridge. Both are more part. और इन दोनों के बीच में इक्वेटर पे गैप है. Okay, the gap is called as a Romanche Deep. It's again like a fracture. It's called as Romanche Deep. Okay. And the dolphin ridge goes northwards, और यहाँ पर it kind of expands here. ऐसे बड़ा हो जाता है यहाँ पर like this. It spreads here. Okay. And this is called as East Greenland Rise. और ये जो यहाँ पर फैल गया है, this one here, this is called as Telegraph Plateau and Willie Thompson Ridge. ये रिज का ही पार्ट है. द रिच पार्ट towards southern part of Greenland, it kind of expands here. It's called as Telegraph Plateau and Willie, W-Y-V-I-L-L-E, Willie Thompson Ridge. Willie Thompson Ridge. Yeah, this is South Sandwich. Achha. South Sandwich Trench. South Sandwich Trench. Draw the diagram, then I'll give the details for you here. Okay? And then we have some extensions of the ridge itself. Idhar extensions hain. Okay. We call this as Valvis Ridge. One extension idhar hai. This is called as Rio Grande Ridge. Valvis Ridge, Rio Grande, R-I-O-G-R-A-N-D, Rio Grande Ridge towards South America. Valvis Ridge towards Africa. Is the drawing ho gaya all of you done? Okay. So let's get started now. So the first point is the Atlantic Ocean is an S-shaped ocean. The Atlantic Ocean is an S-shaped ocean. Okay. It is relatively younger ocean. Okay. It opened up mainly in the Mesozoic times. An S-shaped ocean. To compare with Pacific, Pacific is the oldest one. Pacific is the remnant of an ancient ocean called as Panthalassa. So go back to Pacific and write that if you can. The Pacific Ocean is remnant of Panthalassa. Panthalassa is one of the ancient oceans, okay, before all the continents which were formed, okay. It's a remnant of an old ocean called as Panthalassa. It's a fact there, okay. Whereas the Atlantic Ocean, I said, is relatively younger. Ye recently bana hai. And it has opened up in the Mesozoic times. Okay. The opening of the Atlantic Ocean separated South America from Africa and North America from Africa and Eurasia. The opening up of Atlantic Ocean separated South America from Africa and North America from Africa and North America. Africa and Eurasia. North America from Africa and Eurasia. So अगर आप देखेंगे how it happened, okay, these two were once combined together. Okay. South America, Africa combined थे और North America कुछ ऐसे यहाँ पर जुड़ा हुआ था. So the southern part of North America was with Africa, the northern part was with Eurasia. Okay, so it was combined here. So when it opened up, the continents have now spread out. Okay, and you can add here the spreading of the Atlantic Ocean is related to its central Moor system. The spreading of Atlantic Ocean is related to its central Moor system. That's why we call the Moor as the sea floor spreading, okay, boundaries. Okay, it's an example of, okay, the Moor is what? The Moor is an example of, okay, sea floor spreading. The Moor is an example of divergent boundary. Example of sea floor spreading, example of a divergent boundary. Take all of you? Okay. The next fact here, okay. The Atlantic Ocean has passive boundaries. There is no subduction and there are no trenches along the ocean margins. The Atlantic Ocean has passive boundaries. It has no subduction and it has no trenches along the ocean boundaries, ocean margins. इसके वजह से तीन चीज होगा. Number one, there will be no volcanism along the margins. Because passive margins hai, there will be no volcanism along the margins. That's one fact. Okay. Number two, there will be no trenches. There's no volcanism along the margins. There will be no trenches along the margins. And the third thing is, the continental shelves will be very, very wide. The Atlantic Ocean has some of the widest continental shelves. No active volcanism. There will be no trenches, and there will be very wide continental shelves. Okay. Add here the Atlantic margins have rich fishing banks. Margins will have rich fishing banks, such as write the names, the Grand Banks, such as the Grand Banks within bracket of Canada coast, Grand Banks of Canada coast, around the island of Newfoundland, around the island of Newfoundland. Okay. Plus we mentioned the Dodger Bank of North Sea. Important fishing banks, the Grand Banks and the Dodger Bank of North Sea. Grand Banks of Canada and the Dodger Bank of North Sea. Take about the margins. Next. Okay. The Atlantic margins have marginal seas. They have marginal seas. Okay, matlab side mein you have got small water bodies, like 3-4 names likho, like the Caribbean Sea, Gulf of Mexico, the Caribbean Sea, the Gulf of Mexico. Take a list. The Baltic Sea, North Sea, the Baltic Sea, North Sea, Bay of Biscay, Baltic Sea, B-L-T-I-C, Baltic Sea, North Sea, Bay of Biscay, B-I-S-C-A-Y, Bay of Biscay, Bay of Biscay, Gulf of Guinea, Gulf of Guinea. Okay, so watch here. So these are those seas. Okay. This is the Caribbean Sea. This is the Gulf of Mexico here. Okay. We have here the Baltic Sea, the North Sea. ये वाला है Bay of Biscay. This is the Gulf of Guinea. Gulf of Guinea. This is Baltic Sea. Bay of Biscay. This is North Sea. This is Gulf of Mexico. This is Caribbean Sea. Okay, so back on your atlas or your drawing map में लिख लो, number them 1, 2, 3, 4. You know the locations of the seas now. Gulf of Mexico, Caribbean Sea, Gulf of Guinea, the Bay of Biscay, okay, and North Sea and the Baltic Sea. These are the main marginal seas of the Atlantic Ocean. Okay? Next slide down. There are small microplates. There are small microplates. Microplates, the subductions of which create small trenches. The small microplates, the subduction of which creates small trenches. यहाँ पर एक प्लेट है, छोटा सा प्लेट यहाँ पर है, is called as the Scotia plate. The Scotia plate has subducting and creates South Sandwich Trench. So ऐसे यहाँ पर small plates हैं. Okay, and when they subduct, they create small but not very big trenches. Okay, so example such as Scotia plates subduction creates South Sandwich Trench. Scotia plates subduction creates South Sandwich Trench. And margins of Caribbean plate. यहाँ पे एक plate है called as the Caribbean plate. The subduction of the margins of Caribbean plate creates Puerto Rico Trench and Cayman Trench. Creates Puerto Rico Trench and the Cayman Trench. C-A-Y-M-A-N, Cayman Trench. Okay? Okay. So this is about the margins largely. Okay. Now about the more, you have a subheading, Atlantic more. Atlantic more system. Atlantic more system. Okay. North-south, S-shaped. Okay. The northern part is called as Dolphin Ridge. Southern part is called as Challenger Ridge. Northern part is Dolphin Ridge, southern part is Challenger Ridge, and they are separated by a Romanche Deep. By Romanche Deep. There are extensions. There are extensions of the more. I gave you 3-4 names. Okay. Valvis Ridge, Rio Grande Ridge, Sierra Leone Ridge, Para Ridge. ये दो आपको मार्क करवाया था. No other names also. The extensions of the more called as the Valvis Ridge, a Rio Grande Ridge, a Sierra Leone Ridge, and Para Ridge, P-A-R-A, Para Ridge. Para Ridge. Okay. The more has numerous transverse or transform faults. It has numerous transverse, it has numerous transform faults. Faults? Write 4-5 names. Okay. So we have Atlantis fracture. Okay. We have Oceanographic fracture. We have doldrums fracture. Okay. Some consider रोमांच स्ट्रीप ऑल्सो एज ए फ्रैक्चर, वो भी लिख लो आप. Some of the fractures, okay, of the Atlantic Moor: oceanographic fracture, the Atlantis fracture, the doldrums fracture, and a Romanche fracture, R-O-M-A-N-C-H, Romanche fracture. So, not all of this mentioned here. Let me check if I have shared that one map or not. No, I think I forgot to attach that. Actually, there are some fractures here in this part here. Okay, so there are fractures. पूरे Atlantis में है, Atlantic में है, but some of them are mentioned here. ऐसे यहाँ fractures हैं. Atlantis यहाँ पर है, doldrum थोड़ा साउथ में है. This is where we have Romanche. ठीक है, forget the locations of those. मैं एक और मैप दिखा दूंगा आपको. Okay, so for now just know that we have certain fracture zones also. Okay, and right here, Atlantic Ocean. Let's continue. Atlantic Ocean has hotspot islands also. It has hotspot islands also. Mention the most famous one is Azores hotspots. There are hot spot islands, Azores hotspot. Azores Islands are part of Portugal. Azores hotspot. Then we have southern hemisphere में Saint Helena hotspot. We have Ascension hotspots. Ascension hotspots. Okay, ये अपने आप में कंट्रीज हैं. Okay, sorry, small island territories हैं. The Saint Helena belongs to Britain. It's a colonized one in the southern. Let me see अगर इस मैप में है या नहीं है. Saint Helen. Yeah, it's here. यहाँ पर बना हुआ है Saint Helen Islands here. Azores, somewhere here. ये Azores Islands. Okay. ठीक है. So some hotspot. Yeah, ठीक है. And remember to write about. So just कहाँ लिखा मैंने? I wrote it here. And right here, that one of the important extensions of Atlantic Ocean, is the Mediterranean Sea. One of the important extensions of the Atlantic Ocean is the Mediterranean Sea. But its genesis and its geological history is different from Atlantic Ocean. अगर देखा जाए ना, the Mediterranean Sea, हालांकि अभी connected है. So it looks like the Atlantic Ocean is extending into Mediterranean. That's why I'm saying it looks like extension. But if you look at the genesis, Mediterranean Sea is a very, very old sea and the remnant of, an ancient sea called as the Tethys Sea. और जब Tethys Sea था, तब Atlantic Ocean था ही नहीं. Okay, so some of you know this, others. So what we have is this was the Earth, a very large land called as Pangaea, and a large ocean called as Panthalassa. By some process, Pangaea land toot gaya. Okay. It broke the northern part and the southern part, and the sea in between was called as the Tethys Sea. उसके बाद में, okay, this southern part is Gondwana land. ये है Gondwana land. फिर क्या हुआ? The Gondwana land broke up. Okay. So then we have the northern part, and the Gondwana broke up into South America, into Africa, into small India, into Australia, ये टूटा. So this is the Tethys Sea, और ये जो खुला, this is the Atlantic Ocean. So Tethys Sea is older than Atlantic Ocean. So imagine the Gondwana land breaking up here. That creates, okay, your Atlantic Ocean. This breaks here, and then this moves like this moves like this, tab ye Atlantic Ocean bana. So even if it is linked to Mediterranean, if I go by the history of the ocean, Mediterranean is older than the Atlantic Ocean. So write down 2 lines on the likho aap. The Mediterranean Sea is remnant of the ancient. The Mediterranean Sea is the remnant of the ancient Tethys Sea. T-E-T-H-Y-S. Remnant of the ancient Tethys Sea. Write down. As Africa moves northwards, the Tethys Sea will shrink. The Tethys Sea will shrink. Okay. Atlantic Ocean was formed much later. Atlantic Ocean was formed much later. Now connected to the Mediterranean, across the Strait of Gibraltar. Across the Strait of Gibraltar. I hope you all have heard this name. Okay, so this is Africa, and this is Spain, like this, Portugal here. इस गैप को बोलते हैं the Strait of Gibraltar. The Strait of Gibraltar is controlled by UK. Okay, it's a very important part of the Mediterranean trade route. This is Italy, okay, and the other countries. And okay, so the Atlantic Ocean is linked to Mediterranean, but they two actually have a very different history in their origin. हाँ, फिर Atlantic Ocean का part नहीं है, वो फिर part of Mediterranean Sea है. The Adriatic Sea, we have the Aegean Sea, the Ionian Sea, okay, the Gulf of Gabes, Gulfs of Sitra, ठीक है, okay. I'll take one more session maybe, I'll explain the parts of the Mediterranean, like we have done for the other oceans, we'll do that also. Okay, but I do not need this for now, I need the Atlantic Ocean का more system. ठीक है? So, that's about it for Atlantic Ocean. Let me check if I am missing out something, I'll... So this is, I said, no, ocean bottom relief is among the easiest topic you can think of. एक बार आपको कंसेप्ट समझ में आ जाएगा ना, हाउ व्हाट फीचर्स वी हैव, उसके बाद यू हैव टू नो द नेम्स, दैट्स ऑल. ओके, सो so I have this diagram. ये NCERT का diagram है. Okay, so we have the Rio Grande Plateau or the extension. You have Walvis Ridge here, Challenger Ridge, Dolphin Ridge, Romanche Trench बोला है. It's actually Romanche Deep. Okay, we have the Scotia Trench here, the South Sandwich Trench, the Puerto Rico not shown Cayman. Cayman यहाँ पर है. This is the Cayman Trench. Okay, and this dotted line tells us it's a very broad shelf here. यहाँ पर water का depth कम है. Very broad shelf here, a very broad shelf here. Okay, goes northward as the Telegraph Plateau. ये diagram is on your NCERT. ये देख के आप बना सकते हो. Otherwise, go with whatever we have discussed. ठीक है, all of you? Okay, now you can write down the questions of the previous years. Okay, just give me a few more minutes. Uh, 1998 में क्वेश्चन था, illustrate the submarine relief of Atlantic Ocean. Illustrate the submarine relief of Atlantic Ocean. Then 2017 में describe the configuration of Pacific Ocean floor. Again 2021 में पूछा है. 21 they have asked, give a detailed account of the bottom topography of Pacific Ocean. The bottom topography of Pacific Ocean. ये क्वेश्चंस अटलांटिक ओशन पे है एंड पैसिफिक ओशन पे है. देन ऑन इंडियन ओशन पढ़ाया नहीं है, बट आई विल डू दैट फॉर यू. क्वेश्चन लिख लो. One question was in 24. With suitable sketches elaborate the bottom topography of Indian Ocean. The bottom topography of Indian Ocean. And one they asked in 2003. 2003 में give a concise account of bottom relief of Indian Ocean. Concise account of bottom relief of Indian Ocean. ये 2003 था या 1999 का था, I forget. I think ये गलत लिखा है, but एक और क्वेश्चन लिखो. This was asked in 96. Explain and illustrate the ocean floor topography and the detailed account of mid-Atlantic ridge. Illustrate the ocean floor topography and give a detailed account of mid-Atlantic ridge. In 1989, write a short note on, ये आपको लिखा भी था शायद कल मैंने, short note on ocean bottom relief in about 200 words. ये कल लिखा दिया था मैंने आपको. So ocean bottom relief पे 7-8 क्वेश्चन है, generic ones and also specific to the oceans. Okay, so that's an important topic and I think a pretty easy topic to write on once you know the basics. Fine then, that's for today. And we will have a short break for New Year. Okay. We don't have class tomorrow and day after tomorrow. 31st and 1st. आपको पहले नहीं बताया because आप एक हफ्ते पहले गायब हो जाते. So I had to keep you in the class for some time. ठीक है? So make sure you have a good, nice year end. जो भी करो कानून के हद में करो. Okay. Yeah, you can enjoy. We will meet on 2nd of January. Friday. Friday है ना? Yes, Friday. And Happy New Year. Yes, offline, online, all of you. Bye-bye. Yes. Yes. Today, Tuesday, right? Yeah, online and offline. You'll have your case study at 2:30. So take a short break of 10 minutes and be back. Okay. Online students will have another link. Okay. Offline, you can continue at 2:30.